Today I'll be talking about advanced writing skills. As we have already discussed in our prior video, what are the kind of writing styles are there? We have in brief we have discussed about narrative, descriptive, expository, and persuasive writing types. So today we'll be discussing in detail about the narrative writing. When we are talking about a narration, we think of any story which we have heard is into a narration. So what all material it has, what all sequences it has, how a narration can be done, how a story can be told. So these are a few things which are important. For example, if you wish to write a story, you need to know what are the chronological sequences, what and there are different parts of it, like biographical writing. If you want to write someone's biography, if you want to give a narration, so what is the narrative process? If you are doing a simple process writing of a simple thing, so how it can be done. So all it is influenced by a chronology. Then in a story, what is the spatial relationship? As a writer, what you have to think, what are the relationship between chronology, spatial, and classifications, how they're important in the life of a writer. So let's understand everything quickly. In a narrative essay, the writer tells a story about a real life experience. While telling a story may sound easy to do, the narrative essay challenges students to think and write about themselves. When writing a narrative essay, writer should try to involve the reader by making the story as vivid as possible. When you're writing, it should be in such a manner that the reader feels that they are watching a movie. It's in a simple line, it should be vivid, it should be colorful, it should be like a picture clicked in front of them. That should be the style of description when you're giving a writing. How chronology is important in this? It is often used in narrative essays. When you tell a story, it has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. But all of them are joined by a logical uh, thought processes. This sequence has, anything which you're describing, whether it's a person, it's an object, it's story, everything starts from some base, then goes to the middle, and then comes to the latest and ends it. Right? There are logical transitions between them, and all the events are connected with each other. Nothing comes abrupt here. When you are writing a biographical writing, it describes the life of another person. When you write a biography, narrative essay, you are telling a story of another person's life. You have to decide what all important aspects you want to cover into the other person. When you're writing an autobiography, you're writing about yourself. But when you're writing a biography, you're writing about somebody else. You're writing about somebody's childhood, starting from the childhood, going to education, career, relationship, and all the important events. You're collecting them together and portraying the kind of experiences that person had in his life or her life, and then uh, bringing it in a kind of a story. Now, what are the elements of narrative form? What all we need? What are the main elements if we are writing a narration? What all elements we need? We need characters in that. We need a motive, a theme where everything circulates. Then, when there are characters, they'll be talking amongst themselves, so we need certain dialogues also. Narrative form is a type of essay that has a single motive or a central point around which the whole narrative revolves. All incidents, happenings, and characters revolve around a single motive presented in the narrative. This is it's similar to a simple five paragraph, but the only thing is it has characters, it has incident, and it has dialogues. Now, what is process writing? Process writing is like you're telling something in a sequence. Either you're giving some information or you're explaining something, you're giving directions, but it has a start, it has a method in which sequence you'll be doing it. An example is here, anything which you'll tell that how to do something, right? From how to create your Facebook account to how to slice onion correct way, steps in making a non-bake cake, or maybe how to create your Instagram account. It has a sequence, it has steps, and these steps has to be followed. So this is called process writing. Coming to the spatial relationship, we have talked about chronology, which is about sequencing and timing. Spatial relationship is all about the space or the location. If you were to describe the room in which you were sitting right now, you would be using a spatial organization. It can be also called descriptive writing, and it is most frequently used when the narrator describes how something looks. It could be a person, character, place where they're sitting, which environment they are into. It goes into both fiction and non-fiction, right? So it is when you're describing a person, character, places, groups, whatever. When you're describing something, it comes into spatial relationship. uh, Take an example of a library. Suppose you're talking about the most important in college is the library, and you're describing the places around them, but the main point remains library, and the spaces, places around it could be canteen, could be your classroom, could be anything, but the major landmark remains library. So when you are discussing canteen, your classroom, your library, your college arena, everything comes into the spatial relationship. What all important things are there in case we are describing something, especially when it comes to location or a place? You have to discuss about the dimension, the direction, shapes, proportions. This is how your spatial relationship can be explained. There are various ways in which people organize the world around them. We have already discussed time and space in chronology and spatial. Now another way we describe or segregate things is by classifying them. When we classify, we put them into categories, and when we categorize, we are making it more organized. So let's understand how to organize more things. When you're sorting things in a logical manner, you're putting them into a category. And how you're categorizing, you're organizing into more useful categories. Then there is one principle you're using to organize them, and giving an example which fits into the category. For example, if you're describing about the historical events in India, maybe it will be all covering all the historical events. You cannot think of anything else which is not related to India, or maybe which is not into history. Something like sports car. When you are thinking of sports car, only sports car comes to your mind. So this is how it has to be done. Most popular TV shows in India. Let's say right now, which are the most popular TV shows? It will not be sub bifurcated into morning shows, evening shows, or prime times, but most popular overall. So this is how you have to categorize. Coming to the narrative composition, how, when you have all the knowledge, how can you make a narrative composition? It does not mean that you have to air out your own personal stories. This can be one of them, but it's not always. You can talk about somebody else also. You can talk about your role models. You can talk about any good personality you may not know. But whatever collection, whatever examples you have, you can compose your narration through that. How to select a topic? When you want to put together an appropriate narrative essay format, you will have to consider proving a point by describing a compelling story to the readers. Don't forget that you have to convince the reader. It should may not have a proper setting, it may not have proper dialogues or a plot, but you will have to focus on narrating a particular event that you or someone has encountered, and it should be vivid, it should be very, very clear. Maybe it has some loopholes, but when you're trying to, when you're starting something, the picture should be very, very clear in a person who's listening to it or maybe reading it. How to get the ideas for writing? You have to go through a brainstorm, kind of a session. Like, you'll discuss so many things, but you do not have to keep aside things because maybe it is very silly, or maybe it is complicated, maybe it is shallow, and you will not consider that topic at all. Don't do that. Initially, you can respect all your ideas. Just write, start it. Anyhow, do not be your own judge. You need to, sharpen your skills. So do not, shrug aside any topic which comes to you. Whenever you're sitting with someone, you're brainstorming, write down on a pen on a paper that what all ideas are coming to you, and pick any which you find easiest. Then how to find the material in case you have the topic? See, you have to answer something. Always, there are so many questions when you're thinking of something. You have to answer the queries on behalf of the reader. So that this is how you'll find the material. How to treat a topic? When you don't focus on creating a structure for your essay, no matter how credible a topic you select, it will never make a mark. This can pose a serious issue for students who are not adept as writers or not as imaginative as others. So your narrative essay has to prove a point. Now, when you have selected a topic, now you have started collecting material. You should treat that topic well. You should have all the elements into it. Otherwise, whatever you are doing, it may not influence. It will not be that influential. Dialogues are definitely very important when you are having characters into it. So direct dialogues are when somebody is using saying something in exact words and you use a quotation mark. Indirect is a second hand report of something that has been said already. So they are not the exact words, but yes, the dialogues can be there. When writing a narrative essay, you're telling a story. So that story can become confusing for the reader, though, when dialogue is added, unless it's very clear who is doing the talking. So you have to be very, very clear when you're putting in dialogues who is saying it to whom. Otherwise, the readers might get confused. Even if you're not great at essay writing, you can still try something fresh with the narrative essay. In this case, you can consider playing around with various narrative essay topics by exploring the aspects of emotional experiences, your own or everyday experiences. You might even consider writing your essay from the perspective of somebody else you have never met. As I've discussed, that you can write about anyone, you can start with your own emotional experiences or any everyday experience. So you'll just start writing and gradually you'll sharpen your skills of writing. So these I've discussed today certain points which are required in narrative writing. So this is it for today. Discussed everything. So I hope you like the video, and I'll be coming with more videos soon. And we'll be discussing in my next video what is the descriptive writing. Till then, thank you so much.